Hey guys, so this is a close one. The votes are in. I think we're 45 votes, and so far we're at 58% to resurrect this thing. So I decided to dig into it a little bit. And so we have a little bit of a mess up here. Decided to see if it was worth resurrecting with those close margins. And I think I'll go ahead and try it. I will not be going back OEM on it. I'm going to modify it. So I'm going to take you guys with me on this journey of modification on the Top Race Tr-213. So what I did is I glued this guy in, tore it all apart, because the brooder guys are just a little bit larger. And this guy came with my Komatsu WA470. And so this is Jack, but I needed something to fit in there, and he just barely, look at his head. He just barely fits in there. So I got him in there, and I went ahead and glued him so that, because you have to take this thing apart to get a guy in there. So I went ahead and glued his hands in place, glued him to the seat, so he ain't going nowhere. Jack is stuck operating this one, but he don't mind. He likes running loaders. All right, so the other thing I did is the top of this unit right here. So there's the phony lights that come with it. So it's just like this, and that comes apart. And so what I'm doing is I'm adding lights to it. So I'll kind of take you through that process here, and we'll just keep moving on this. The other thing that I'm doing is I opened the back of it up, pulled the screws out of here, and so this is where all the weight comes from on this machine, is from these steel bars. That does add a lot of weight, but I may need this area for electronics. So I may be taking that out, and I may be adding my weight elsewhere in this unit. But what I wanted to do is see if I can make this accessible. So I threw a hinge in right here, and no worries about the paint. I'll be touching that up after I get everything finished, or maybe not. Then it'll just look used. So I'm going to show you what I did on that hinge when I install the second one right over here. So I just did a few quick test things on it before I decided, all right, I'll go ahead and try resurrecting it, but I'm going to do it my way with modifications. So there's a couple of choices I've got for motors and stuff like that, but we'll go through that when we get to those steps. So we're going to start with this first, and what I'm doing, I'm going to be losing my limit switches. So this is not going to be a beginner model anymore. I'll be losing my limit switches. Now I do want to keep an indicator as to when I'm all the way over. So we're going to be doing that right here. I'm going to be putting a light in right here, and we're going to use our limit switches to activate a light to let me know when it's fully in the left or right position. So that's where we're at right now. All right, so to get started, we'll get ourselves a 5mm hole drilled here. I've got a red 5mm LED. All right, so that will fit nicely. All right, I'm gonna want to drill another hole right back in here, because the way this fits up in the cab right here, it's nice and tight. I'm gonna have wires coming in back through here, back in the back of the cab, running down. So I want to be able to bring those wires in. to that area. So I might even drop those in the top corner right there. I want to see how this glass is gonna fit in there and everything, how much space I have. So let's get everything together, pushed up in there, and it's pretty tight. Looks like I got a little room on the side, so I could run my wires along the side right there. Yeah. So looking at it closer, see, I got that space right there, right in this area. So I'll drill my holes through the side, bring my wires right in through the side right there. All right, so that's where I'll bring my other lighting wires in at. So now we'll want to install our 5mm LED. So it'll be sticking up just like that. That's going to give me indication when I'm at full turn. Try and give me a little, hey, stop turning before you burn your motors up. But what I want to do is glue that in place. So, and this is what I used, this foam tack. Love this stuff. You guys see me use it so much on this channel. And I will continue using it because it works for so many different surfaces. And it's nice, quick glue. It's got good tack and adhesion. And get a little bit up in there so it'll squeeze. And then we'll use our long needle nose. Oh, I got a screw. A little tack. Get rid of that guy. All right. Let's see if we can see that up in there. Let's give him a little push. Very good. Push that all the way up in there. And we got our LED. And I always like to check our LEDs, make sure they work. And with these LEDs, they've already got the resistor on them. So you can use up to 12 volts on these guys. So you can test it with the 3S battery, but they're still plenty bright even on 2S. So that's not a problem. So I just go boom. All right. So that should be my indicator, and we'll do some testing once I get the other wires wired up to it. All right, so next I will bring this guy over. Okay, now I did the one side again. I was just testing because with those few things, hinge in the back and just a few little details like with lights and stuff, and I'm going to do the front lights too, because when this machine is stock, the front lights only come on when you're moving forward or moving backwards, and I want lights on or off, not dependent on the movement of the machine. And so I'm going to wire everything up probably just on one switch, just so that all the lights are on or all the lights are off on it. So let me show you what I did on this to get this guy going here. So once I got it pulled apart, I found that there was this little hatch right here. And so just use your X-Acto knife. Pop that guy up out of there. See that there? Okay, and there's another round one up here. So you can use anything, a screwdriver or something like that. Pry this guy open. Ooh. There we go. And it reveals a semi-hollow area. Now I'm just gluing this back in place, so I don't need these round portions here, so I'll cut those off, and then I'll drill these guys here out so that I have that room to run the wiring. So grab the battery, grab my X-Acto knife, put the cap on my glue. This stuff dries out real fast too, so you gotta be careful. But what we'll do is we'll just trim those out even. And try not to cut my thumb, done that plenty. All right. All right, so now that's clear, so that'll give me more clearance. I need to get rid of that. Now I don't want to drill through. I'm just gonna trim that guy up a little bit. Then use my X-Acto knife to clear it out. All right, that should work. All right, now switch out our drill bit. Better check, make sure what size we've got here. Should be working a 3mm. That's a 4. That's too big. Good thing I checked. All right, what do we have here? That's a 3. Yep, that's the 3. For these front lights, I'm using 3mm bulbs. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna drill down through here. Try and just center it up on those squares. And I start out square and then I line it up to go straight through. Bump my camera stand here. All right. And actually, I think I did drill those out to 4mm. That's why I had the 4mm out. But I want to start it with the 3mm and just wallow it out with the 4. Let's make sure I'm centered. Okay, straighten it up. Okay. All right, because yeah, I did push those through. Let me see how they do this way. Because again, that was a test on that last one. So let's see how it works this way. I got a little bit more room. I still need to clear a little bit of this out. I just don't know if that's gonna... Yeah, that actually ain't too shabby. See, I was trying to retain that round piece, but then figured out with all the wires in there, that wasn't gonna work on this side. So I'd wound up pushing them through from this way. But with this, I'll be able to just keep that 3mm, and I'll just be able to push that light through right there, and that'll work. And grab another one of my 3 mic LEDs. I seem to keep a plethora of LEDs because I love lighting. So I just buy them in bulk. That don't look too shabby. All right. Just make sure those are pushed in good. We'll test both of those LEDs, and then I'll glue them in. Sweet. All right. So I'll just do a quick battery test on them. It's harder to do with, we'll do one at a time. Yeah, I'll try, see if both of them come on here. Looks like we got 2 LEDs. Check that out. That's gonna be so awesome. These are the same LEDs I used on the HG, and they provide good light at night. So, sweet. So we got that done. Now, I've got to drill through here. So we'll use our 3mm. And I just got to pull this plastic shroud down just a little bit and give me some room. And I'm just drilling past that little nipple that's in there because it just gets in the way for the wiring. We'll clear out our plastic debris. All right, that looks good. And we'll start feeding our wire. Oh, that reminds me, better glue these guys in. Okay. So we'll do the same thing here. Okay, got that one. Pull that guy out. Start that one. And I'm going to put a little bit down in here. The nice thing, this stuff holds really good, but it is still something where you could disassemble it. I mean, you'll destroy the lighting and everything, but you can still get in here to replace the LEDs if you needed to. Get in there. She's not wanting to fit now. Let's go in now. Okay. And with putting all that pressure on it to push it in there, I'm going to double check it again. Just make sure I didn't mess anything up on it. glue off my tools. Make sure those wires are pushed down in there. All right, we'll give it another test run here. I can't believe I'm rebuilding this thing, trying to resurrect it. But you guys want it, you guys get it. All right, that looks good. Now I can feed my wires through. That hole that we just drilled. And we'll see what kind of snags we run into along the way. I've got a couple, like I said, I got a couple options for the drives for the motors for this thing that I'm gonna try out. At worst, I could go with the OEM motors. It's a little bit slower than what I like, but those things are about 20 bucks a piece. So that's why I was hesitant to go with resurrecting this thing. It's like, I don't know if it's worth putting the money in, but you know, I think this is going to be a fun project. So instead of going back OEM, we'll just make a full project out of it without going to the extent of doing the Magnum RC full hydraulic upgrade. That was tempting, but that is very expensive. Come on, get that. I should have probably done a 4mm hole here. It's not too late, because I don't think I can squeeze another wire in there. So we'll back these out. Let's change this out. Go with a 4mm hole. Easy enough. Saved me a little bit of headache pulling those wires through. So I need to remember on the metal piece to do a 4mm hole and not a 3, because especially with the metal, you'll cut up and skin your wires and create a short. We do not want to do that. Man, that was so much easier. Okay, get those wires pulled through all the way. And make sure that we stayed seated on our lights. So push those in. Okay. Our lights are good. Test fit our cover. All right. Now it sticks out just a little bit. Get on the side too, because of that wiring. So I think it'll still be acceptable looks wise. And what we'll do is we'll just, see, it's already tacked up on the end there. We'll just want to put a little bit of this in here. Get it back here on the tail end. We want a little on the sides. A little tack here, a little tack there. Up in the front, a lot of tack. If I gotta take this thing apart, it'll probably really tear it up getting there, but hopefully LEDs, I won't have to get in there and do anything with them. So we'll just push that into place. And I'll let that dry a little bit and I can scrape that off. All right, so look at that. I got 4 LEDs on that guy. That's sweet. So now we're gonna have to work this because these comes around here like that. These go through the holes in the back here, and then these attach right up in there like that. So I need to make way for my wires. So we will drill this out right here. Oh, and this is the hinges that I'm going to be using. Just these little guys. I'm waiting for hardware to come in. I found enough hardware to do this one, but that's all the hardware I had. 2 millimeter, or yeah, the 2 mil screws, bolts, or actually too big. That's going to be about 1.4 millimeter. Anyhow, I ordered those. Those are coming in. So that's the first money I spent on resurrecting this, is to get hardware for the hinges. That was kind of expensive, but for only needing 4 more of those size bolts, but you gotta have it. Yes, I could drill those out to 2 millimeter, but just the size of the bolt needs to be smaller as well. All right, so continue on. Cab, we're drilling. I got the 4 mil on there. See if I can get a little bit more length on that bit. I'll get this other side. Ready. That'll be just a matter of, I might have to make those even a little bit bigger. We'll see how they fit. Oh, that's looking good so far. Okay, that's dried enough. I'm gonna get that off there real quick. Before it dries all the way. Okay. All right, now let's see if I can remember how to. Okay, so just manipulate that, snap in place, boom. So there's that side. And the back piece. Slides in there for your railing. So we'll get this back pin in here. All right, and then we'll go for our electrical on this side. Yeah, I think we can manipulate that in there. Let's see. Oh, that black one's not cooperating. There we go. Probably out of view there, sorry. I'm not a multitasker, that's for sure. So, do the best I can capturing this stuff on film for you guys. Okay, so gotta figure out which black one I need to pull on. They got all twisted up, which makes it even harder here. Okay, the other black one over here. Yeah. Both the black ones are being kind of stinkers. Because it's all twisted right here. I'm going to have to actually pull it out. Because it's all twisted up right there. And so it's creating a, well, get away from electrical terms. It's creating a knot. We don't like knots. And I think it's just the one black one. But if you take your time with this part, you'll have success. We want success. Okay, so gently pull that out. And let's just pull him all the way out of here. Okay, let's get him fed through here. Get rid of that knot that we created, because that was just buggering everything up. There we go. Now I just feed him through here. Okay. Now as you start getting close, undo that loop so that you don't kink the wire. And then finish pulling it through. Now we got a nice clean set of wires going through there. So now that'll push right back into place like it's supposed to. Put that in, snap it in place, and boom. Now we've got those four. Now we can test it. Maybe we could try to test all four if we're going to do that, which I like to do. I'm going to get myself a little bit more wire to work with. So let's just pull these guys. Let's just strip a little. I need to see how far these wires are going to go as well. I'm going to have to put some more wire on. If I get these through the bottom of the machine with what I've got here, that would be fantastic. If not, then I'm going to have joints in here that I got to deal with. So we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. And just for something like this, just the continual testing and verification as you go will just help lead to better end results, because then you have less troubleshooting on if you do have a problem. Because as you test along the way, then it's going to show you any issues. Like if I skinned up these wires or anything like that, then it's gonna, it should show up right now. If I ruined one of the LEDs, it should show up right now. While I've still got everything apart, I don't have to disassemble everything. So with each step, we'll do some testing. So we'll throw our negatives in. Boom. We have 4 LED lights. Bright ones too. That's awesome. I like it. I like it a lot. So now we're going to take these. And the deal is, I could probably drop down both sides, keep them separate, instead of running down the one side. That would probably give me the length that I need to get through the bottom of the machine and do my wiring under the deck of the machine right here. Because if I run it over along the top and run them all through the same hole, now I'm not going to have enough wire to do that. So what to do? Because I want to run them all through here. If I have to, I can drill me another hole just right here and just run it down the corner. Because now this guy, our glass has got to go in. And I've got to figure out where I'm going to punch my holes in the glass. So, 2 holes or 1? I think I'm liking having all my joints at the bottom of the machine. So if I could just run the pair. So I think we'll do that. So we'll just take another 4mm. Let's see where our glass sits on here. Okay, so we can just drill it in the corner right here. Okay. All right. So now I need to get a hole in the glass. This can get tricky. This feels fairly pliable. I don't think it'll shatter. I've had this stuff where it will just shatter on me. So, but first, let me get rid of the stuff that will scratch up my glass, because I'll probably wind up putting this down, and I don't want to scratch that up too much. Alright, so now let's get into our corner. Right back here in the back. I think we're still on a 4mm. We are, 4mm drill bit. And we'll just take it easy. Okay, that drilled nice. Alright, so and take and run our wires. Through there. And what I might, that's not going to fit all the way up in there. We're pinching the wires right here. So so it's pinching right here. All right, Dremel time. Get that all melty. I could have run it right down through here, but I still want to run it back here just so it's as close to the back of the machine as possible. should allow for clearance for the wires. So let's try that again. Take 2. I need to take a little bit more out of there. Yeah, I take a little bit more. Yeah, I think what I might do is take that out. That's hot. A little space there now. Okay. Take 3. Make sure I get it in the right hole. I think that's got us a snug fit. Let's test fit our cab interior. I think that's gonna work. I do have a wire that didn't come through, but I like it. All right. So I don't know why that didn't stick with those. Okay, so the glass up there. That's okay. You're going to do a little bit of wire management here. The sticky vac don't want to cooperate. So sticky it wants to stick to the plastic backing, and then the plastic backing wants to stick to me. Okay. Alright, now where are my little tiny guys at? I'll just fold the tip of this guy up. Now before you start closing this thing up, just make sure all the wires are in there. Alright. Oop. Ha! See, I didn't have that pushed all the way up. I gotta make sure I pull my wires taut. Okay, keep that glass all pushed all the way up in place. Wires are taut. Yeah, where my snippies at? Okay. And we'll just get a little tug on each wire. Okay. Next, hold the tip up. Go underneath our wire. Try to get you a better view of what I'm doing right here too. sure our glass is pushed up, our wires are taut. Alright, snips. Okay. That should work. Let's see, let me give my glass a quick clean in here. Okay. Now, so we get all the wires fed in. See, that one's already being a stinker again. Watch his head. Okay. That don't look too bad. Let's see. What do you guys think? I think that's good enough for me. I don't have high standards. So now I should still be able to have enough wire to get underneath the deck and do my wire connections under the deck, which is awesome. So now this stays. One thing when we're going to put this back in here, the nut for the center pivot goes in there. So that goes first. And then this guy slides down in here. So I need to figure out where I want to do my wires. If we want to just come down in that slot, let's try that. Let's just bring everything down there. Let's get those up. So our bolts in there. Let me zoom out here a little bit. Our wires are here. Our warning LEDs here. And there's enough room on those wires for me to make my connections. So I got 4 on that side. I've got 4 on that side, and those 2. Very good. So I'll find my screw. It's one of these. I just don't know which one. Because there is one screw that goes in right up in here. And that's the only screw that holds that cab on. It just snaps in right here. The back hooks, so that comes through the bottom deck and hooks, and then again one screw right there. I think it might be the silver guy right here. I have slept since I done this, so no guarantees I'll get this right. I forget. tightening up. Oh, and it's tight. All right, so I think that's the right screw. Boom. There we go. All right, so we got 4 LEDs. We got a warning LED. We have a driver. Hey, what do you think? I think this might be a good start to the resurrection process. All right, we'll call it quits there. And we'll break this thing up. There, we'll have several videos for you as we go along, as I get parts in. Some stuff is out, you know, till end of August, getting parts and stuff. So we'll see what I can get when I can get it, and when things come in, I'll keep plugging away, and this will be our little project aside from our construction. Thanks for joining, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, I want to thank all my supporters. You know, got over 1,000 subscribers now. I appreciate every one of you. You guys are great. So thanks for subscribing. For those that haven't, please support the channel, subscribe, like the videos, and you know, let me know what kind of ideas you guys got. I like to listen to you, and like I said, I wouldn't be resurrecting this thing if it wasn't for you guys saying to do it. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you again.